Hey everyone, my name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make your Thanksgiving turkey the easiest way possible. A few years ago, a friend of mine shared this method with me and I've never made it a different way since. So this is going to be totally different than any way that you've ever cooked a turkey. So just hang tight. You're going to be amazed by the results. It's so easy. It takes a longer time, but it's something that you can do while you're sleeping, which is even better. So it frees up your oven the day of so that you have time and space for all of your casseroles and your side dishes and desserts. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using Pampered Chef's cast iron enameled pan, and it's this large rectangle pan here. I'm going to zoom in and give you guys a closer look and give you a little bit more details about this. So if you're not familiar with Pampered Chef's enameled cast iron, these are beautiful. They come pre-seasoned so that you don't ever have to season them ever. I love that these are dishwasher safe. The only thing that you have to do when you take this out of the dishwasher is just dry the rim, because this is the only part that's not coated in that enamel coating. These have a lifetime guarantee. They're both PFOA and PTFE free. You can use this on the stovetop and in the oven up to 500 degrees. They're also dishwasher safe. This is an 8-quart capacity. It will hold up to a 15-pound turkey. The turkey that I'm using today is just under 12 pounds. It does come with this rack, a roasting rack. For the turkey that we're making today, you're not going to use the rack, but if you're doing a traditional turkey where you put it breast side up, then you're going to want to use the rack. I'm going to show you a different way. Like I said, it's totally different than anything that you've probably ever done before. It blew my mind when my friend taught me this. So I'm going to set the rack aside, and I've got a few things ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over what we're going to do here. We're going to put our turkey in. I've already got it nice and dry. It took about 4 days to defrost the turkey. So make sure you plan ahead for that step too. You don't want to wake up on Thanksgiving Day or the day before Thanksgiving, if you're going to do this like I'm doing, with a frozen turkey, because then you're going to have to kind of panic and do some quick thawing in some water. And it's just easier to just let it thaw in the fridge. So I've got some kosher salt. We're going to rub this on the inside of the cavity of the turkey. We're going to stuff it with some vegetables, and I'm going to use oranges this time. So I'm going to use celery, an onion, at least one of these oranges. We'll see how much we can get in there. And then I have some fresh rosemary. You can get really creative with the citrus that you use for this. Years ago, I took a class actually on how to make a Thanksgiving turkey, and they used oranges instead of traditionally people use lemons. And so I'm going to share a few different things with you today. So let's go ahead and get our turkey and let's get started. So like I said, my turkey has already been washed, and I'm going to just transfer this right to our enameled pan here. Now right now I have it breast side up, but when we're ready to actually put this in the oven, I am going to do it breast side down. And I was actually going to put some rubber gloves on. I'll do that in a second. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I want to prep out all of the vegetables first. So I'm going to slide this over. We're going to get our vegetables ready. Then we're going to rub the inside of that with salt and rub the outside with oil and add our seasoning. So I'm going to have 1 onion, and I'm just going to quarter that. And then I'm going to take a couple of pieces of celery, and I like to cut the whites off. You can use those if you like. And I'm just going to trim this up. We'll stuff this inside. We're going to add our rosemary, and then at least one of these oranges. We'll see how much space we have once we get all of this going. And I'm just using our small Santuco knife here. I love this knife. I tend to use it most of the time, unless it's dirty. It's my favorite knife. Sometimes when it's dirty, I'll grab a different one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our turkey, and I'm going to put some rubber gloves on. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like handling raw meat. So if you don't like to handle raw meat, then just get some food prep gloves. You can get them on Amazon. Some grocery stores sell them. And now because of COVID, you can get gloves just about anywhere. So we're going to just take some of this kosher salt, and I'm just going to rub it on the inside of this turkey. So I'm going to just rub it on, get it all in that cavity there. I'm going to flip this bird around so that I have a little bit more space to work with. Just rub the salt on the inside. I didn't measure this. I just put a little bit in my prep bowl. And I want to rub that in. I think that's probably good. Okay, so now that we've got the inside of the bird rubbed down with salt, we're going to stuff this with our vegetables and fruit. Now, make sure before you start that you remove the neck and the giblets from the inside of the turkey. Sometimes that little bag that they stuff inside is a little hard to find. They've started tucking it kind of around the back. The last couple of years I've noticed that, and it's really easy to miss that bag, so make sure that you get that out. You don't want to roast your turkey with that bag inside. All right, so I'm just going to put the onions, the oranges, some of the celery, and I don't think we'll have room for a second orange, so I'm not going to worry about that one, but I wanted to have it handy just in case. This is going to add so much flavor, and I'll flip this around in a second and show you what we're working with. I'm going to go ahead and stick this rosemary in there. I'm basically just stuffing this whole bird. These are like aromatics, so it's going to just infuse the flavor. Okay, so this is what we've got. I've got my turkey full of onions, celery, fresh rosemary, and oranges. Now the next step, we're gonna take some oil. You can use vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you like, and I'm gonna use a silicone basting brush, and I'm going to brush this with oil. If you wanted to use butter, you definitely wanna wear gloves for that, because it just gets a little bit messier. You could melt the butter, but I would just take some room temperature butter and just smear it on. That's what I would do. All right, let's see. Now, remember I told you we're gonna cook this bird breast side down. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over and brush the oil on here. We're gonna put our seasonings on. I'm gonna use Pampered Chef's rosemary herb seasoning for this turkey. It's my favorite for turkeys. All right, I'm gonna actually see if I can push this down a little bit, because I want it to lay a little bit more flat than it was wanting to lay. Let's see if I can rearrange some of this stuff. Okay, I'm not sure if that's gonna make a difference, but it's all right if it doesn't. So I'm gonna take these gloves off, and I'm gonna rinse my hands just to be sure that I don't cross-contaminate. All right, I'm gonna take our rosemary herb seasoning, and I'm gonna just sprinkle this on top of the oil. I'm not really measuring this, I'm just giving this a nice coating. I'm gonna flip this over. There we go. And I took my gloves off because I didn't want to get any juice from this turkey on my spice bottle, since I didn't want to take out more than I'm actually going to use. Okay, there we go. So for this, and I lost a few pieces here, I'm just going to tuck those back in. We're going to cook this breast side down. The reason we're going to do this, hang on, I don't want the water to be drowning out what I'm saying here. Okay, so the reason you're going to do this breast side down is so that it is a self-basting turkey at this point. So if you're making a traditional turkey, you have to continue to baste the turkey throughout the cooking process to keep it from drying out. The really cool thing about this method, by cooking it upside down, so breast side down, it's actually going to baste itself, and all of the white meat is going to be super juicy and super tender. You'll never want to make a turkey any other way. I will tell you, this is not going to look like your traditional turkey on a carving platter, because this is literally going to fall off the bones. So I'll show you that in a follow-up video when this is done, so that you'll see how it is. I actually am going to transfer this over to my Rock slow cooker stand so that it will actually keep it hot until I'm ready to serve it. But it's not gonna be like your traditional carving turkey, but it's gonna taste so much better, and in my opinion, the taste is way better than the presentation. So that's just my opinion. You might not agree with that, but I'm giving you a different way to make your turkey, and I hope that you'll try it out. All right, so we're gonna take some aluminum foil, and we're gonna cover the roasting pan. You wanna get a nice tight seal. All right, so let me tell you what you're gonna do next. So we're gonna put this in the oven at 400 degrees for just 1 hour. After that hour is up, I'm gonna lower the temperature to between 200 and 250. I'm gonna do 200, and then I'm gonna leave it for about 10 or 11 hours and just let it cook. So this is gonna cook all night long, and I don't have to mess with it at all. And when you change the temperature from 400 to 200, you're not gonna open the door to the oven, you just leave it closed, lower the temperature, and let it keep going. The really good thing about cooking this at 200, you're not gonna burn it, so you can cook it longer than you actually need to, depending on the timing. So if it's gonna be done before you wake up, then you can just leave it in there and not worry about it. Or if you wanna cook it up until the moment that it's ready to be served on Thanksgiving Day, you can do that too. So you can sort of time this how you like, but you can leave it in the oven an additional 3 to 6 hours at that 200 degrees because it's such a slow cooking turkey at that point that it's not gonna burn, it's just gonna keep it warm. So we're gonna put this in 400 degrees for 1 hour, then I'm gonna lower the temperature to 200 and cook it for another 10 or 11 hours after that, and then I'll take it out and I'll show you how amazing this is. Literally, it's gonna fall off the bones, and it's gonna be the perfect turkey for Thanksgiving Day. So I'll see you in a bit. All right, you guys, I just put my turkey in my oven. I have it preheated at 400 degrees, so I'm gonna cook it this way for 1 hour, and then I'm gonna lower the temperature to 200 degrees, and I'm gonna let it cook for 10 or 11 hours longer, and then it should be done. So stay tuned. All right, you guys, are you ready to see the turkey? So just to recap, what we've done so far is I cooked this turkey for a total of about 12 hours. The first hour was at 400 degrees, and the next 11 hours was at 200. So depending on the size of your turkey, you may need to cook it a little bit longer or less time. The really cool thing about cooking it this method is even after it's done cooking, you can leave it in the oven for 3 to 6 hours at 200 degrees, and it's not gonna burn. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I can pull this foil off. And oh my gosh, you guys, the juices in this pan. I cannot wait to show you. Check this out. Beautiful. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take the meat off the bones, and I'm actually going to store this in my Rock slow cooker stand. So the stand is here. It has 3 settings. So you have a high, low, and a warm setting. And this particular product will hold our 4-quart Rock Dutch oven, as well as the 2.5-quart everyday pan. Both of these will work in our Rock slow cooker stand. The Rock itself can go on the stovetop, in the microwave, in the oven, in the dishwasher, on your grill without the lid, and even in a smoker without the lid. So let's just dig into this turkey here and get all this meat off. So I have our half-sheet pan here because what I'm gonna do is, let's see, just start taking, you see this, you guys? This literally just falls off the bone. So I'm just going to break away some of these pieces because this is just gonna all go into the slow cooker stand. So don't worry if it doesn't look super pretty as you're doing this. I'm just getting it out of this pan for starters. Let me slide this around a little bit. And I even have my my microwave grips so that if I need to actually grab a hold of this turkey, I can hold on to it without burning myself. All right. So I'm just trying to work really gently because I don't want to slosh all this juice around because it is still hot even though it's been sitting out. And we don't eat the skin, so I'm just going to pull that off and take this. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is amazing. I told you it would just fall off the bone, didn't I? Now, this kind of gives us a starting point. You can always go back and pick off, you know, as much as you can get from these bones. Let me rotate this back around this way. Literally just falling off the bones here. I do have a big bowl over here just to put bones. So I'm just going to pop that in there rather than leave it in that juice. And then I can go back and pick off any of the other meat that's left behind. Look at this. Oh my goodness. So much meat. And I love using the tongs here. Let me change the view a little bit. So I can just peel the skin right off. If you like the skin, then by all means just leave it on there. But my family doesn't like that, so we just take it right off. And these chef's tongs are such great fingers when you don't want to get dirty or burn yourself. All right, so a lot of this I'm just going to drain off using our scoop and drain, but I want to get as much of this meat off the bones as possible. Oh, you guys, this is amazing. Tilt this pan a little bit and see if you can see. Oops, a little too low there. Look at how much juice is in this pan. So you have so many drippings here that you can use for your gravy. So let me grab my scoop and drain. All right, so I've got my scoop and drain. This is the perfect tool to scoop out anything that sort of fell out as we were getting the turkey out. I'm gonna slide my turkey over here for just a minute and bring this bowl a little bit closer. And just scoop all this out because I do want to be able to make the gravy. All right. So we'll be able to get most of the, there's a nice piece of turkey in here. I don't want to waste that. So I'm actually making this well before Thanksgiving, and so I'm going to be able to just freeze this and oops, and it will be ready for me to reheat on Thanksgiving. Look at this, you guys, just using those chef's tongs. I can go back and pick off a good bit of that meat, but let's finish getting all of the drippings out, or all of the vegetables that sort of made their way into the pan. All right, and I can pour this through like a mesh strainer to get even more. Okay, so what I'll do, give you a little bit better view there. What I will do is I will start taking off all of the meat from the bones here and putting them inside of my Rock Crock slow cooker stand. And once I have that all in there, I'll put it on either low or on, excuse me, I'm warm. I couldn't think of the word I was looking for. I was like, not reheat, warm or low, but don't put it on high once it's already fully cooked. And you can put it in there. You can put a little bit of the pan drippings in there if it's going to be in the rock crock for an extended period of time. So let's say you're doing this on the morning of Thanksgiving and you're not going to be serving this until dinner time on Thanksgiving. You would want to have some liquid in there to be sure that this does not dry out throughout the day. This, like I said, is already super juicy, super tender because it basted itself, because we cooked this breast side down. So I'm going to go and I'm going to separate all of this, get it in the rock crock slow cooker stand, and make some gravy. So I will post this recipe in my recipe community. You can find it at theflipflopchef.com, but hang tight and we'll make some gravy. All right, you guys, we're gonna make our gravy and then we're ready for Thanksgiving. We just have to focus on our side dishes and our desserts. So I wanna show you first what I've done in the rock crock. So I have in my rock crock slow cooker stand, I have my turkey, and I'm not sure if you can see, but I sort of separated it by white meat on one side, dark meat on the other. And so depending on how you wanna serve it, some people don't like dark meat and they only want white meat, and vice versa. So I can leave this on the warm setting for several hours. If it's going to be longer than that, I would put it on the low setting and be sure to add in some of the drippings from the pan. So we're going to make the gravy, and I'm going to do that in our milk pan. So let me go ahead and turn our burner on. I'm going to use a medium heat here. So this is our cast iron milk pan, and we're going to use 2.5 cups of the pan drippings. So let me show you real quickly how much drippings that we're working with here. So I strained all of the drippings through a mesh strainer into my classic batter bowl, and then I poured off 2.5 cups for the gravy. So if you were going to be serving your turkey an extended period of time after you take it out of the oven, I would recommend that you pour some of this extra drippings into the rock crock just so that it doesn't dry out. So let me set this aside, and then let's make our gravy. So we're going to start off with about a 1/4 cup of butter, and I've got 2 whisks here. So we have a, turn this to low real quick. This is our new silicone coated sauce whisk, and then our very famous mini whipper. So I'm not sure which one of these I will use just yet. Let's get them butter melted. So 1/4 cup of butter, and then we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of flour also. So I'm going to just let that butter melt, and I'm just going to stir it around just a little bit because that pan was nice and hot, and get that melted. Then we're going to add in the flour, and you want to cook it for just a minute or so, so this long enough for that to get browned. And then you'll stir in the pan drippings and bring it to a boil, and then it's going to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. So you're going to continuously whisk that after you add in the drippings. So we pour in the flour. So we've got the butter and the flour. I think the mini whipper is great for this. My grandma says you can't make gravy without the mini whipper, so. All right. So this is getting nice and combined. You want to make sure that there's no lumps in your butter. So this is just butter and flour. Bring this up to medium now. I didn't want to scorch that butter, so I turned it down. All right, so I'm just going to pour in these pan drippings, and I'm just going to sort of whisk it as I pour that in. This smells so, so good. Now I am using an induction cooktop, and things cook much, much faster. Your pan is going to get hotter faster, and you can just really make fast work of most anything that you are cooking. I'm going to turn this on high, and we'll just continue to whisk this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add in some fresh parsley. So you'll do this at the very end, and you can even add in some salt and pepper after you add in the parsley, just to kind of finish it off. So let me show you our herb mill. So this is the herb mill. It comes apart very easily. You just pop this piece off the bottom. This little piece comes out for easy cleanup in the dishwasher. This little weighted ball is actually going to push the herbs down into your herb mill. So I'm going to take our parsley, and for now I'm just going to grind it up back into this prep bowl here. So we're going to put that in there, and I may have too much parsley in it. We'll give it a little shake. There we go. Put that ball a little bit lower in the container, and then you can just sort of shake it as you go to reposition that weighted ball to push those herbs into the mill. There we go. It says pampered, not perfect, right? Gotta make sure we get that on there. Good, there we go. Finish that up. Give my gravy another little stir. It's already thickened so much. Clean up my mess. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and stir in that parsley, because I don't need more time since I'm using this induction cooktop. I'm going to turn that down to low. You can see this is nice and thick. So let me add in some of this parsley. And then, whoops, I already moved my salt and pepper over here. Add in a little salt. You can add in more salt if needed. I'm not a huge salter, so I never really add a whole bunch of that. All right, so there you have it. Now we have our gravy, and we have our turkey dinner all ready to go. So when you're ready to serve this, you've got your turkey in your rock crock, and then we've got our gravy in our milk pan. And be careful, if this was heated for an extended period of time, then this handle would be hot. So just make sure you're careful when handling this milk pan, because this handle can get hot if you have it on a high temperature for a long extended period of time. So you may need to grab a microwave grip or something to grab a hold of that. But right now mine's just warm. So we've got our turkey and our rock crock. We have our gravy on the side in our milk pan. And now I can focus on making my side dishes, desserts, and everything else that we need for Thanksgiving dinner. So I really hope that you're excited about this method for cooking a turkey. If you try this, if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you guys. Be sure to use the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching this on Facebook. Leave me comments, and be sure to follow me at theflipflopchef.com for thousands of recipes and a giveaway every single Friday. So I'll see you next time.